Hello, my internet friend. This is me, Yung, and welcome to another episode of Be My Guest. If you already watched the first two episodes, you'll see that here is the space where my guests and I will talk about just any topics, whatever come to mind, and we would like to share it with you because we hope you enjoy it too. Today joining me is a very good friend of mine. Please say hello to Tracey Pham.
Hello, I'm Tracey Pham. I'm a fresh graduate from the Media and Culture program in Leeds Beckett University in the UK. And it's very nice to be here with you today. I hope you enjoy this episode.
I first want to give it up for you for graduating. Such a milestone, going to Leeds and graduating. And what I can observe that you get so much more and so much different things than you expected when you come to Leeds studying. It's a big moment and also nervous, I figure.
So it's opened a whole new world for me. I just finished the Media and Culture postgraduate program in Leeds Beckett University in the UK. And the program focused more on the cultural perspective of the media other than how to be a media practitioner. The media itself is a very powerful tool. It spreads the information, it shapes people's ideas about the world and about themselves and about their community, about many things. So when I got to learn more about the cultural perspective, when I can learn more about the people and how the media shapes people's mind, I feel like, wow, for so many years, I just don't know why I feel like I'm never 100% myself. Because, for example, in Vietnam, there are so many social stereotypes that we live in. For example, if you're a woman and you're getting 30, and yeah, you are required, it's not like required, but you are expected to get married and to live in certain ways, because most of the people in the community and most people in our culture are living that way, and we are expected to live exactly the same, to follow that ideology and to live that kind of life. But it's not true. We can always have a different kind of life. We can always have different ideas about the world, and we have the right to define ourselves in our own way. So yeah, when I learn all about that, I feel the freedom to live my life in my own way, and it's like create a boundary, a very strong boundary with the world, so that I can be myself and to be more confident with all my values. Yes.
Yeah. So, like for a while, I also struggle with the definition of home for me. Because I don't know, I feel like if I lose everything or if I feel uncertain about everything, but if I can define for sure what home for me, I can still feel safe because it is one place that accepts me for who I am. So if it's not a physical place like your house, the house where you grew up with, like your childhood home, or nor is it like a mental place necessary, like it doesn't necessarily have to take any form space. And what is it for me? And I hope that everyone can find their own definition of home. It doesn't have to assume it has to be the same to what we already know and learn for so long. Recently, I think I can accept the definition that is where I feel right. It doesn't have to try to be something else or do something to prove my worthiness of staying there. It could be a place, sure, like place where I have a roof over my head and a place where I make food and I eat it in my own comfort. I can accept that, and it could also just be my own body. And sometimes it's the inspiration I take from poem or TV shows or just friends, like so many inspirations to make me realize that, okay, so sometime today this is home and tomorrow it might not be anymore, and it's okay.
So my connection with Leeds is quite personal, and I think the inspiration for me to stay, it just because that maybe it creates a sense of belonging, and a sense of security. I think I would say mental security or emotional security, something like that, because I studied here and I explored the city, and I just built up that connection throughout the years and become like a safe space for me to come back to my room to recharge the energy and then to create new ideas. Everything links with Leeds and everything links to this county. So Leeds is a city belong to Yorkshire. It's a county, so it's like a state. So in United States, they call a state with the combination of many different cities, but in the UK, they call it county. So Yorkshire is the biggest county in England, and Leeds is a city in West Yorkshire. So this area is quite big. It has West Yorkshire, North Yorkshire. Yeah, it's like a big county, and there's so many things to explore here. I think I didn't know much about other places, but in Yorkshire, whenever I read the news or whenever there's something new, like some innovation in the city, so I follow the city council's Instagram, Facebook, and any channels, any social media channels. And I get updates to the city. It feels like, oh, I really feel like I'm a citizen here because I update with the news and I get to know how the city is growing and developing. What is the new changes for the city in upcoming years, and the feeling is I think it's quite I can't find the right word to describe it, but it's like home to me. Because I think Leeds nurture my sense of identity, and it also embrace all of my joy and my sorrow, whatever I experience here. So I think that's the biggest inspiration for me to stay and to seek out for opportunities in this particular area in Yorkshire, in Leeds, or just in this area, because I think I'm so used to it. And yeah.
Yeah, so I love that your version of home have a community, because I feel like that was lacking in mine. I am very interested in learning about people and their behavior, but lately I have been questioned whether I want to be around people all that much.
But I just finished my master's last year, so I have to move to another city to work for a couple of months. But I don't think that I got on well with people at that place. I didn't like the job that much. And yeah, and I miss Lit so much. And I realized that, okay, I have to come back here. So after a few months being away, I came back to Leeds. And then some of my friends studying from the same university, they are still here. So sometimes we hang out and then we talk about our studies, how we experience Leeds, and how we thought of the customer service of our university, our lecturers, our friends, everything. So we have shared experience in Leeds to talk about. We
Yeah,
knew
yeah.
each other ever since we came to Leeds, and we met at certain events of Vietnamese students in Leeds. So all of that, I feel like, okay, I feel more alive here. I have my pupil here, and I have all
Mm.
the I say all the old places with good memories. They're all here. Like, it's great.
I think another thing that we share in our experience is school. And when you describe yours, you were studying something so interesting. Um, and yeah, I want to talk about it.
I write my dissertation, my master dissertation about vinyl records and young consumers. It came from my own observation when I came to Leeds and I saw there are a few record shops around the city. It's not a common thing in Vietnam, at least where I lived, because I haven't seen any record shop like that, just all vinyl records. And it's a very old musical platform that I think is back in my parents' generation. So back in the 60s and the 70s, it's the prime time of vinyl records. But when I did this research and I talked to my dad, he was like, "Oh, I used to have a collection of like hundreds of records before I came to Vietnam, because he studied in Ukraine. So in the past it was the Soviet Union, but after
Oh, yeah.
1991 it became like it just became different countries. It's not like the Union. So my dad used to have a time study abroad, and he is a collector, but I didn't know about it until I told him about my research topic, and he was quite interested to know about it. And before this dissertation, I did a smaller scale research, also for the same topic. And I remember my dad asked me to send the final research to him so he can use the Google Translate to read about it. It's quite funny. So it's just very from my personal, my daily life observation about the vinyl records in Leeds. And personally, I'm growing up in a family that really enjoyed music. We have a lot of CDs, DVDs, and I grew up listening many different kind of music, US, UK, and Vietnamese music. And I grew up with the Beatles music, Modern Talking, those very old names back in the day. And then I kind of have some connection with music. And when I research about vinyl records and I can have some conversation with my dad, it feels like it is something that's so common. But I also realized that there's a gap in our communication back home, because I didn't even know that my dad is a record collector until we had this conversation about my research topic. So I realized that doing research, and especially this research, bring me a lot of nostalgia to how I am growing up with music, how I adopt all the cultural capital for my family, like how they grew up listening to many different kind of music, like classical music, instrumental music, and those kind of music. And until now, I went to the UK, I did a master's, and then I researched about something that's I think it's more about personal interest and how it represents someone else identities and the way that they see themselves with the world. Yeah, so it has so many things linked together in the topic, and it's quite interesting because it literally came out of nowhere. It's just that I walk on the street, and then I saw some record shop, and then I had a visit to some of those shops, and I think, oh, this might be interesting. And then I have a previous research about this topic, and I realized, oh, this is interesting, because if there are many shops like this, and if young artists like Adele, Ed Sheeran, and many other artists, they still have their albums on vinyl records, it means that people still buy these music platforms, music products, physical products, other than listening online. So this trend of vinyl record listening and young consumers is like a nice blend of the old and the new. And I always like this contemporary perspective of things happening in lives.
Same, like when I arrived for my master in Japan, I really didn't know what I want to do for for my thesis either. And it turned out to be something completely different when I finished it.
Okay. Unblur your background. Unblur it.
We are now in different places, but it still feels very much like as if we were sitting together in that cafe, and we can have a chat of really after a long time meeting, if we cherish it. It makes me realize how rare and how fortunate it is for me to be able to meet all of these wonderful people like you, and then have conversation with them and stay friends with them after years. I'm really thankful for all of that.
I enjoy having this conversation with you. Such a rare experience to have some friends to be in the same room. Like, this is Zoom. But yeah, be the same space and then share about common things that we care about. Yeah, thank you for having me. And very nice to be here with you today. And I hope you enjoy this episode.